Alright guys, I hope you're well. Today I thought I would show you a quick tutorial on how to create a lovely simple square gem. It's a really easy thing to do, but it makes a great addition to many different projects. I used it recently on this knotwork project. I've been working on a border. I wanted to add a little something extra to it to really make it stand out. So I added these coloured gems and I think it works really well. You don't need loads of tools. All you'll need, obviously, your paper, a ruler, a pencil, a pen, a coloured pencil. I will also show you a technique using a little square template, but it is not necessary, so don't worry if you don't have one of those. So to crack on, all you'll need to start with is your pencil and your ruler. And just down the centre of your page, or the centre of where you want the gem, I should say, just draw a nice neat line. Doesn't particularly matter how long at the moment. I'd say maybe practice this a couple of times before adding it to a particular project, just until you get the hang of it, or experiment with colours and things like that. That's what I did. I did loads of testing first. Now I'm just marking the centre of the line that I just drew, and now I'm just going to draw a line going the other way. I'll make them the same. So here we go. So now we have a nice equilateral cross there. I find squared paper much easier. You don't have to, but personally my favourite technique is to work on squared paper and then transfer it to plain paper afterwards. Now all I'm doing now, as you can see, is just connecting the end of each line together to form a square or diamond, whichever way you look at it. There we go. So that will form the outside of our diamond. Now what you want to do is to create the inside. This, you can choose really how far in you want to go. It doesn't really matter. What that does is, depending on how far you go, it will affect how big the facets of the gem are. So the further in you go from the outside, the bigger the facets and the smaller the top of the gem. So I'm just going to go in and mark it just about halfway there. So 3, 4, 5, yeah, halfway. And do that the same on all sides so that they are all equal, like so. And then just connect up those ones. Like I said, this technique is really great just for adding a little extra sparkle to a project. It's a great way to fill in spaces like I did on that border. And it doesn't take long either. So now you've got the basic shape set up, all I'm going to do now is take the pen and mark out the outside. But I'm not going to be covering all of the lines. We don't need all of them. So you want the very outer ones. Basically you want everything, all the lines except for the very center cross there. All except that bit there. Now in a later video I will show you some other shapes, but the technique is very similar for all of them. It's not the most detailed of gems. There are some out there that are absolutely incredible, but it would take you an entire day or more to shade them and to figure out the different angles of the different facets and that. Personally I've just wanted a little gem that's really easy. I'm just getting rid of the excess pencil now. But I just wanted something that was just really straightforward. I didn't have to sit there and figure out, okay, so if that facet's light, then that one's dark, or that one's medium, and you know, it just became a bit too complicated, too much of a headache. So now we've got our basic shape there. I'm just going to show you quickly how to draw it out using a template. You've probably already guessed, it's very straightforward. So again, your pencil, and let's choose this one here, number 40. So you've got your outside square. I know, nice and straightforward, isn't it? Much easier. Then using these same points. Now, the reason I don't like using this technique so much, using a template, is because I personally find it not as accurate. I would much rather sit there drawing out each line individually and make sure that they are all straight, personally. But I can just get a bit OCD about things like that. But the good thing about this technique is you don't have to worry about the marks in the centre, because you don't draw them in the first place. So there you go. So there's two slightly different techniques for actually drawing the shape of the gem. Really straightforward. But now I'm going to transfer onto some plain paper and talk about colours and shading. Now, you could use several different shades, several different shade of pencils to get this. I like to make sure that the colours actually match like the tone of the colours, so I prefer to use one pencil but actually use it at different hardnesses. Does that make sense? So basically what it comes down to is you have one side light, one side dark, a couple of in between. So medium, medium, light, opposite is dark, in between, medium, medium, and then we've got the top, which actually does the opposite to the outside facets. I'll show you what I mean. So if I show you on this one, we do light first, so very lightly with your pencil. I'm only doing this quickly to demonstrate, so I'm not going to make it like ultra neat or anything. Just enough to give you an idea. So we've got a nice light side there. So we're presuming that the light source is coming from up this way. So because this will be bending down away from the light source, this one will be your dark. That's why you have one side light, one side dark. So I'm pressing a lot harder now. Again, this is only quick to demonstrate the technique to you. If I was working on an actual project, I would take a lot more time on this. So pressing pretty hard, as you can see from all the lines. If I was to spend more time on this, I would start with the lighter on all sides and then build up the others gradually. So add more layers to each side to build up the depth of the colour. So we've got two extremes here, very light, very dark. Now we want to add two mediums. So I'll start with the light. I'll show you what I mean by building it up. Start with the light. Same on the opposite side. The smaller the gem, the easier it will be to shade as well. Don't have to worry so much about messy lines. So now we want to build it up, so I'm just going to add another layer. I do like to use nice soft pencils. I love using watercolour pencils personally because I find them nice and soft. I'm in no way an expert on colouring, but this is just what my personal preference, shall we say. So there we go. So we've got a nice medium tone there. You can see it gradually getting darker. So we just want the same on this side now. There we go. So we've got light, dark, medium, medium. And now, like I said earlier, for the top of the facet, we actually want to do the opposite, going from dark to light. So what I do here, normally this is how I do it, is start on the dark side, nice dark line there, and then gradually just ease off the pressure as you go along. So just gradually taking the pressure off the pencil. So you go from nice deep dark shade there to the light at the end. So I just add a bit of extra there. I personally don't mind it if it gets a bit darker around the edges. It just adds a bit more depth to it, I find. And just a couple of bits there just to smooth it out a little bit. There we go. So you got your light facet, your dark facet, your two medium ones, and then you've got the very top flat facet, shall we call it, going the opposite way to these outside ones. So where you have your light, you start with dark, and where you have your dark facet, you end up with your light there. And that contrast just gives it a nice little shimmy. Gives it a nice little shimmy. So that is what I've done on all of these gems here. As you can see, it's just a much larger version of it. There we go. And that's it. That is all there is to it. If you give it a try, please let me know how you get on with it. I would really love to know. And yeah, if there's any other tutorials you'd like to see or anything as well, just let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed it, please give us a like, give us a share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye!